What's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG WTF LOL FTW BRB here, and welcome to day 1 of 31 of the 31 days of the Royal Rumble. Now, in case some of you guys are wondering just exactly what I mean by this, I announced it in my update video I did a while back, but I never actually made an official video for it for you guys here. The 31 days of Royal Rumble is pretty much for me, and some of my friends are going to be live streaming and hopefully not getting banned in the process, either on Twitch, YouTube, or anywhere else, watching every single Royal Rumble from January 1st, which we did last night to watch the first one, all the way to January 31st, which will be the last one, which will be both this year's men's and the first ever women's Rumble. And pretty much I'm just going to be giving a review on the show afterwards. Now, of course, this review is being uploaded on January 2nd, so technically I guess this is still day 2 now of 31 days instead of day 1, but I gotta also kind of work around my schedule here, so a lot of days, including tonight, we're gonna be watching these Royal Rumbles pretty late. Like last night, I didn't get home until around 9:30, so we ended up watching the Rumble around 10 o'clock, and it didn't end until around like 12, so they're gonna be a little later, and I'm not gonna upload the review directly after the Rumble if it's gonna be that late, because I got other people to worry about who sleep in this house too, so you got what I'm saying here. So they will be up, it's just they might be up like the next day as soon as I get up or wake up a little bit here. But for those ones that are, you know, recorded during the day or not super late, I can get the review up on the same day as the Rumble. Either way, this will either end January 31st or February 1st. We're doing it either way. Which brings me to the first Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble 1988. And when we watched the whole pay-per-view, not just the Rumble thing. We are going to be ranking the Royal Rumbles as we go, the actual Royal Rumble. It's hard to, you know, because the pay-per-view is named the same thing as the actual Battle Royal. But the actual Battle Royal, we're going to rank from, you know, best to worst. So all 32, including the Women's Rumble, is going to be ranked here. And I'm not ranking the pay-per-views, just the Rumbles. But I'm going to give you guys my review and my opinions on the Royal Rumbles. Now, originally, the way I wanted to do this was kind of like a wrestling with regret style. I wanted to like talk about it while showing you clips of what I was talking about, but since I recorded on OBS, I don't have a program that lets me edit OBS videos. They like, I think it's FLV files they do. I found one, but I wasn't making much sense out of it. I thought I did, and then I went to go delete all the things, and I ended up deleting like the whole video. So I was like, what did I do wrong? So I figured this would just be the easiest way to go with this. I know it might not be the most entertaining review thing out there, but you know, it also avoids copyright too, so you can deal with that as well. Anyway, let's just jump into this review. We've been going on a little while here. You know how I like to ramble. First match of the very first ever Royal Rumble. So the very first match ever on a Royal Rumble pay-per-view was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Rick Rude, and it was a good match. The ending itself was a little confusing, but I'll get to that when I get to that. But it was a really good match. Best match on the card. It's kind of funny how this pay-per-view worked out, because it seems like the matches just got worse and worse. Like, Ricky Steamboat and Rick Rude was the best match, and then our second match of the night was the second best match. The Royal Rumble, which was the third match, was the third best match, and then I'd argue that the last match was the worst match. Not that it was a bad match, it's just, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So anyway, Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude. It ended in DQ after, what happened? Rick Rude like pulled, yeah, that's what he did. He pulled the referee into Steamboat when he was going for a crossbody. So Steamboat connects with the crossbody. And by the way, this crossbody he does into the ref was beautiful. The referee did like the most amazing bump ever. So it was awesome. But it's at this point where I would show you the bump, but I can't. But anyway, so he does this like most amazing bump ever when Steamboat hits him with the crossbody, and then Rick Rude puts him in like a torture rack submission hold, which is interesting because usually when someone's doing a torture rack, they have like their body like bent around their shoulders, whereas Rick Rude had him just like on the one shoulder bending him, so it's kind of interesting. So he had that going on, and as soon as the referee got up, he rang the bell, and this confused me and my buddy Zach. We were both like, what just happened? He didn't tap out. I didn't see a tap out. They were playing Rick Rude's music, so it made it seem like it was a tap out, but they quickly reversed it to a DQ, so I guess that's kind of cool. But for the like beginning of this matchup, I don't know if they took the megaphone away from this lady halfway through it, but like for like the first half of the beginning of this match, there was a lady with like a megaphone, like she was Jimmy Hart or something, just heckling the fans. She was saying numerous things. She had this really creepy laugh at one point where she's like, ah! And she even got some of the crowd to start going, Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. Like, Rudy's got the chalk or something, you know? So it was interesting. She didn't have the megaphone after that match, or even throughout the entirety of that match. I'm certain security finally got over there and was like, you gotta knock it off. There was also one point where Rick Rude has like Steamboat, I think in like a Boston Crab or something, and Ricky Steamboat is clearly tapping out. Like, he's sitting there like doing this and tapping out. And I guess one of the viewers notified me and Zach that a tap out wasn't really acknowledged as a tap out until like Ken Shamrock came in with the whole UFC background. So I guess during this era they always just go, no, I quit, or they would like shake their head yes. Maybe. I always feel like I recall seeing people tap out, but he also pointed out, well, if you always notice, they're always shaking their head or saying no to them or something as well. So I never paid attention that much, but in today's standards, Ricky Steamboat lost this match. He clearly tapped out, but this was definitely the best match of the night. I'm not really good at doing star ratings just because star ratings, you have to compare it to another match, and I don't want to be like, oh, this match got a 4 stars, and then I think like something like, I don't know, like I said, I can't name anything. Like Triple H and Shawn Michaels got a 4-star, and it's like, you think this match was just as good as the Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude match? I'm not a big fan of doing the star system, but like I said, I like to rank the shows, so I think that this match was the best match of the night. And my God, Ricky Steamboat's he's great. He's great. It's a shame he never got a run at the top because Ricky the Dragon Steamboat knows how to work. So after the first match, we go into this long, like I want to say it was like 15 to 20 minutes, this long angle all about Dino Bravo trying to break, like, I think the bench press world record or something like that. It was like 715 pounds or something like that. I don't know. It went on forever. But you got Dino Bravo, Frenchie Martin, Jesse the Body Ventura being Bravo's spotter, Frenchie Martin's Bravo's manager, and then Mean Gene Okerlund over there to do pretty much play-by-play. Phew. My apologies, guys. I did not mean to sneeze on camera. Probably will do it again. Yeah, it was very boring. They tried to make the best out of what they could. You can tell Mean Gene and Jesse, they're especially Mean Gene, they're really just trying to keep the fans entertained the whole time while Dino is legitimately lifting these weights. This is not a joke. He's legitimately lifting these weights. Like, you can see sweat coming down, like, when it's starting to get heavier and heavier. One thing that really kind of struck me about this, Zach brought it up. He said, can any of these fans really see what's going on? And to answer that, no, they can't. There's no Titantrons at this time. There's no nothing, no big screen, I think. At least I don't think so. But, yeah, you have this big arena filled with all these fans, and barely any of them can see Dino Bravo trying to break this thing. Like, just seemed like it was pointless. Like, what was the point of doing this? In fact, it doesn't seem like it belonged. I try to imagine this being on like a WWE or WWF pay-per-view nowadays, and I'm just like, it wouldn't. It would, especially this long. Like, there's no way. Someone would have came out and interrupted it by now. But pretty much he goes on lifting different weights over and over as they get more and more and more heavier as time goes on. Yeah, at one point, you know, he's telling the crowd to be quiet because he needs silence. He gets mad and he walks away at the 7:15. I think that's what the record was. I don't remember. He walks away when he's about to get to like the one that's about to break the record, but Frenchie talks him out of it, so he comes back and then he does it. The whole story here is he's lifting it up, and then Jesse Ventura kind of helps him put the bar down too, so there's some controversy there. You'll notice throughout the night if you watch this pay-per-view, Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon, who are the color commentators for this pay-per-view, they bicker back and forth a lot. Like, there was one time, we'll get to it when we get to it, but there was one later on the show that particularly made me laugh. But yeah, this bench press thing with Dino Bravo, what a dud. This thing sucked. It did not belong on this show, and it went on for way too long. But once we were done with that, we lead into our 2 out of 3 falls, our first 2 out of 3 falls match of the night. Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Two out of 3 falls matches. Anyway, 2 out of 3 falls for our only championship of the night, the WWF Women's Tag Team Championships. First time I'm ever seeing these championships defended. I've always known about them, but I've never seen them or ever witnessed them ever defended. So it was a nice little treat. It was the Jumping Bomb Angels, which was my apologies for announcing these names wrong. Norio Tenno and Itsuki Yamasaki. There you go. And they were taking on the Glamour Girls, who are the champions heading into this bout, Judy Martin and Lalani Kay. And they are also managed by Jimmy Hart, who, honestly, I realized at this pay-per-view, Jimmy Hart manages a lot of people. Like, we saw him out here twice with 4 matches on the card. He was here for this match, and then he was here for the Royal Rumble match. So he manages the Glamour Girls, which is interesting because he's wearing all gold and everything, because he's with the Glamour Girls. But then when he comes out with Bret Hart for the Royal Rumble, he's wearing his pink stuff. So this dude changed halfway through the show as well, which, that was interesting. But anyway, into the match itself. It was a good match. It was pretty well spaced. I don't think it needed the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation, because with me, 2 out of 3 falls, it just doesn't seem like it picks up until 3rd fall. Like the 1st fall, it seems like it takes forever to get through, which, is normal because they're trying to build up like a little match for you. But the 1st fall just kind of seemed a little sloppy. The match before the 1st fall, was a little sloppy. 2nd fall just happened like that, like it was pretty quick, and then the 3rd fall, was when the match started picking up. So that's when I feel like the match is really getting good. But that's how it is with any 2 out of 3 falls matches, I feel. One thing that really made me laugh hard in this matchup is at one point Jesse Ventura asked Vince McMahon, do you know the names of the Bomb Angels? And Vince McMahon, despite being the owner of the company, goes, well, I don't speak Japanese all that well, Jesse, so we'll just call the pink one the Pink Angel, and the red one the Red Bomb Angel. And he does this for, like, majority of the matchups. Like, for a good halfway portion of this match, they're known as the Red Bomb Angel and the Pink Bomb Angel, which... that's kind of bad, dude. Could you imagine that happening nowadays? Like, Shinsuke Nakamura's out there. I don't speak Japanese really well, so we'll just call him Asian Michael Jackson. Come on. It just made me laugh. Eventually, he does find out the names. I imagine someone came over to him with, like, a slip of paper just so he can figure out the names. And he does say the names, so he was all like, well, I know one is Norio and the other's Itsuki, or something like that. And Ventura just continues giving Vince McMahon crap. I feel like he just did it on purpose a lot of the times. He's sitting here, Norio, that sounds Italian. And Vince is so done with Jesse at this point. He goes, like this, just like this. I don't know, Jesse. Like, he's just so annoyed. Like, come on, dude, give me a break. And Jesse just ends it by going, well, she don't look Italian. I love Jesse Ventura, by the way. What a fucking guy. He is hilarious. But, there's also one part where Judy Martin's, like, she tagged out, so she's waiting on the apron, and you see Jimmy Hart just, like, groping her leg. Obviously, he's, like, massaging it, but it's just so funny watching him groping this girl's leg. It was funny. The first fall ended with a beautiful alley-oop. By the way, I know we already talked about the falls a little bit, but the first fall ended with one of the Glamour Girls. I don't know which one, but she hits a beautiful alley-oop. Like, Big Show, take lessons. That alley-oop was gorgeous. It was glamorous. She hits the alley-oop to pick up the first win. The second pin goes by a simple just roll-up, and then the third fall goes by a double drop kick to one of the Glamour Girls. The Bomb Angels double drop kick right to her. Beautiful. They sandwiched her. It was great looking. 1, 2, 3 new tag team champions, the Jumping Bomb Angels. So there you have it. There was one thing, a little bit of controversy at the end of this match. Jesse Ventura brought it up. They even had a camera show on it. When the Glamour Girl that got pinned for the final pin of the night was being pinned by the Bomb Angel, I don't remember which one. I guess I should have looked it up. Her shoulder was definitely up. Her shoulder was up. Referee didn't see it. So there was a little bit of controversy there. I don't know if they ended up reversing the decision or doing something like that. But there was a little bit of controversy there, and Vince McMahon, as always, was in denial. So after the 2 out of 3s for the Tag Team Championships were on the line, we go to a Hogan versus Andre the Giant contract signing. Hogan and Andre at this time have already had their match at WrestleMania. Hogan won, of course. This is being built up to, I don't know what the pay-per-view is, but pretty much the match where Andre beats Hogan because of fishiness with Earl Hebner coming in for Dave Hebner, the whole twin referee insanity thing happening there. So this is the contract signing here. Nothing too special going on. One thing I really want to point out is Andre just had some confidence on him this entire time. Like, he just looked like he didn't. Like, it looked great. He looked believable. He was bouncing on the ropes. It looked like he just didn't give a damn about anything happening. He just looked like he was ready to just whoop the shit out of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's acting was on par. He was acting terrified. He looked like he was legitimately intimidated by Andre the Giant / annoyed by Ted DiBiase, who was there. He was cutting a promo at one point and saying how he was going to buy the WWE Championship over Andre, which we all know doesn't happen. I think that's when Hulk Hogan got, like, pissed, because, like, right when Ted DiBiase says it, he, like, just snaps out of being scared and signs the contract. At one point, he takes Jack Tunney's hand and, like, shoves it over to Andre so he could sign the contract. Andre the Giant, by the way, is sitting in this chair that just looks like it's going to break on him at any moment. I'm really surprised it didn't break, but it didn't. But, yeah, contract signing for the match. The only thing I really liked about this was Andre's confidence and Hogan's acting. Everyone's acting was actually really good on this part. So then we lead into our third match of the night, the 20-man Royal Rumble, the very first Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and the only Royal Rumble pay-per-view to have 20 men in it. Of course, after this would go up to 30 men and stay 30 men until they did that dumbass 40-man Royal Rumble, and quickly turned it back to 30. So we have the 20-man Battle or Royal Rumble here. First time ever they explain the rules, which we know, 2-minute intervals. You have to be, thrown over the top rope to be eliminated. They don't make the whole, both feet have to touch the floor rule thing. It's literally just over the top rope and you're eliminated. That's all they say. There were no entrances for this. Literally, we started off with number 1 and number 2 in the ring. Number 1 was Bret the Hitman Hart, which, by the way, that's pretty incredible. Bret Hart, having the career that he is, the Hall of Famer that he is, just to add that one little thing on his Hall of Fame resume as well as, yeah, I was technically the first ever entrant into the Royal Rumble. That's pretty cool. Not only was he the first ever entrant into the Royal Rumble, he was the first ever Iron Man in the Royal Rumble. He lasted the longest in this matchup. So that's impressive. Tito Santana was the second person into the Royal Rumble, and from there it went to, like, Butch Reed, Jim Neidhart, which I only really remember that because Tito Santana was getting his ass beat by 3-on-1 heels until Jake the Snake Roberts came out. By the way, Jake the Snake Roberts and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, super over. Like, wow. I know Hulk Hogan, like, held back Jake Roberts because I know there was, like, rumors of him supposed to be getting a championship run, but Hogan put a niche in it. But I never heard any rumors about Hacksaw Jim Duggan not getting a push, and I don't understand why. Like, I know him and Hogan had similar gimmicks, but if you ask me, Hacksaw was better. Like, his pop coming down, the fans were into him. Now, guaranteed Hulk Hogan didn't wrestle. He only had that contract signing. So, but there was no Hogan, or anything like that. Like, these guys were going, ho, like, for the entirety that Hacksaw was out there, guys. Like, Jim Duggan was over. They should have pushed him. He should have been Hulk Hogan instead of Hulk Hogan. He doesn't have all the controversy behind him or all that other stuff. I think one person said he smoked weed with Iron Sheik once. Whoopee! That guy should have been your face. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was great. Butch Reed was also the first man ever eliminated from the Royal Rumble, so there you have that. But other than that, Jim Duggan, we all know, he went on to win the 20-man Battle Royal by eliminating One Man Gang. Our final 4 was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, One Man Gang, Dino Bravo, who we saw earlier tonight, and Don Morocco, who looks a lot like Rocky Johnson far away. The match itself, it was a pretty good Royal Rumble. It's definitely not the best. Right now it's ranked at number 1 on our list, but it's literally because it's the only one we watched. But it's definitely not the worst Rumble I've ever seen. I'm certain it's not gonna be on the bottom. But it was a little sloppy at times. It's to be expected. It's the first Rumble, so not everybody knows what they're doing. There was a lot of times where specifically I caught the anvil, Jim Neidhart just kind of like out of place, like he would just be standing there, and then you'd see some gun just run up to him and start beating him up, and he's just getting his ass kicked. So there was a lot of just waiting around and sloppiness happening right here. Plus, like I said, there were no entrances. In fact, there was no like announcing like through the entire. I mean, there was announcing, but I had the audio down pretty low, so I couldn't really hear it. So I didn't really, but I don't think they announced anybody that came out in the Rumble. They just kind of like came out with like Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura saying it, like not Howard Finkel. But good thing I recognize a lot of people, because I think there was like maybe 2 or 3 people I didn't recognize, which was like, one was like Danny Davis, and then the other one was like Sam Houston. Everyone else was pretty good. There was one funny spot that happened in this Rumble though. Don Morocco comes down for his entrance, but following him close behind is Nikolai Volkov, who jumps his spot. He had to have jumped his spot. He comes walking down there with Don Morocco. Morocco goes to get in the ring. Nikolai Volkov kind of like pulls him like, what are you doing? I'm getting in the ring. Morocco then like forearms him and gets in the ring. Volkov no-sells the forearm, and then like for the next 2 minutes the referees are just sitting on the outside like this. No, you can't go in. Not yet. While Volkov's just wondering why. And then finally, once the 2 minutes are up, they let him to go in. So it had to have been a blown spot. He had to have messed up somewhere. I can't imagine that was the intention. But either way, it was a decent Royal Rumble. Nothing really to write home out. There was like really cool spots. There was one interesting spot where Harley Race was just kind of like on the second rope, bouncing back and forth. It doesn't make sense, but it happened, but it was alright. Last superstar in this Royal Rumble at number 20 was the Junkyard Dog, and as I mentioned before, Jim Duggan goes over by eliminating One Man Gang after One Man Gang goes running at him, and he pulls the ropes down, letting him go over. But just want to point out, Jim Duggan, you're owed a title shot still to this day, buddy. Better capitalize on that, man. Alright. And then finally, the Royal Rumble did not end the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view ended off with a 2 out of 3, our second 2 out of 3 falls match of the night. The Islanders, Haku and Tama, versus the Young Stallions, Paul Roma and Jim Powers. There was no title on the line, no nothing. I don't know why this match ended the pay-per-view, because it really shouldn't have. But it did. So the match itself was really interesting. It wasn't the best match ever. It was kind of slow. It didn't pick up until, as I said before, until the final fall, which this time ended up being 2. I've never actually watched a 2 out of 3 falls match that ended in 2 falls. Like, we never got to the 3rd fall, so that was interesting. But a part of me feels like there's a reason why that happened. I don't know if it was supposed to go that way, but I don't even know if it was supposed to end that way. Like, was it originally a 2 out of 3 falls? This match to me is confusing, because there's that one point where Paul Roma is sent over the ropes, right? Over the top rope, being eliminated from the match. But anyway, he hurts his leg, and it legitimately looked like he hurt his leg. So he gets counted out. They count him out. And they say, oh, winner of the first fall are the Islanders. And that's when I was like, first fall, we're doing another one of these? It struck me a little as odd. But we go to the commercial break, and I'm thinking, all right, we're about to jump right into this matchup again. No, we don't go back to the matchup. Paul Roma and Jim Powers aren't even at ring anymore. The Islanders are still in the ring, but not them. They've been taken to the back, and now we got the $1 Million Man. Was it? Yeah, the $1 Million Man and Andre the Giant are out here stalling time and cutting a promo. And I think they did the same thing with Hulk Hogan. Like, they had both of them do this, cut a promo pretty much on what happened earlier tonight. And once they're all done talking about the dumbass promo that they're cutting, that's when the Young Stallions come back out, and Paul Roma's leg's all taped up. So I'm really wondering, like, was it real? Like, did he actually hurt his leg? And they didn't want the show to end on a countout, so they're like, make it a 2 out of 3 falls match, and we'll go tape him back up and send him out real quick. So that's what happens. They tape them up, they send them back out. Paul Roma's back in the ring. He takes a lot of the heat early on, getting beat up by the Islanders. Jim Powers gets in there, and he's doing a lot of the work once. Like, Paul Roma's in there, he gets out, like, pretty quickly. He takes a couple bumps, and he's like, all right, fuck this, I'm done. Tags out Jim Powers, and I don't think he tagged back in after that. He might have. But, yeah. The Islanders go over. I don't even remember how they went over. The match just seems like it ended. Like, I remember both me and Zach being like, that was it? Okay, never mind, that's it. Just a simple move that happened out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. The Islanders pick up the victory. I'm very confused. I don't know if Paul Roma was legitimately injured or not, but if he was not legitimately injured, like if this was all a work, all a plan, Paul Roma is a fantastic seller. This guy was making his leg look like it was hurt so bad he was hobbling on the apron. He wouldn't stand on it. Seth Rollins needs to learn a thing from Paul Roma selling, if so, because god damn, this selling was beautiful. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the first review of the 31 Days of the Royal Rumble. Like I said, if I had to rank the matches, it would literally go Steamboat and Rick Rude to the first match, the Glamour Girls versus the Jumping Abominables being the second match, and this is how I'm ranking them too. Best match, second match, or second best match. Royal Rumble being the third best match, and then the Islanders versus the Young Stallions being our fourth best match. So it kind of got worse throughout the night. But it was a decent pay-per-view. I don't know how this led to the success of the Royal Rumble, so I don't know if this was really what led to it, or they just kind of like were persistent to keep it going on, because it wasn't like it was bad, but definitely is not the best Royal Rumble. But if we go to our full screen thing here, which I can pull up in a second, here's the full screen thing. Make it a little bigger for you guys. Alright, hold on. So professional. Should have done this beforehand. So we go to the full screen here, and let me go back, and I'll show you the current rankings of the Royal Rumble. Sitting hard at number 1 right now. Here, let's put that bad boy in full screen. Sitting hard at number 1 right now is the 1988 Royal Rumble. Will it stay there for long? I highly doubt it. But we know it's the number 1 Royal Rumble at this moment. But that's going to do it for the review. To end off the review, though, I want to announce that tonight, the 31 Days of the Royal Rumble will continue with the Royal Rumble 1989. We're going to be doing it a little later tonight. I work 3 to 10:30, so I don't imagine me getting off of work until probably 11 o'clock. So I want to say maybe 11 to 11:30. We're going to be doing the second Royal Rumble here tonight. Most likely on Twitch again. I did create another YouTube channel specifically called the 31 Days of the Royal Rumble. I do want to try it out on there, but I'm probably going to do that on Friday when I have enough time to play around with it and learn it a little bit more, so I don't have to jump right on it. But yep, I hope to see you guys later on tonight for the 31 Days of the Royal Rumble. I know it's going to be a little late, but again, that'll be 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.